Me and my funny glare. Where did it go? There it is. That's interesting. Trying to shake a cold. I've had a terrible cough. I made a couple videos. Couldn't finish them. Just started coughing crazy. I am going to make a video later about a saw, a Stihl MS-170. It's like their shortest. They don't make them anymore. They're probably doing something else, but it's like a 16-inch saw. We have a wood pile at work that had a lot of really good firewood in it. Very dry, seasoned, 4 or 5 years old. Been out in the 105-degree heat all this time. A lot of eucalyptus. Impossible to cut. But I've used this Stihl on rounds that are 2 feet across. And it worked well. I also learned how to sharpen the damn thing. That was a big help. But just I think it has a bad reputation on YouTube, but this thing's a workhorse. I have overused it and abused it. And don't be afraid of having a saw that's too small. Because I have a 20-something inch saw, and then I have a little 12-inch DeWalt. I'm going to do a video on that one too. That's electric. But anyhow. What am I doing this for? I had a conversation with an old friend of mine. This guy's like almost 80. I worked with him for a long, long time. And he saw me grow up. And then had to be forced to work with me. This guy has 3 children. They're all grown adults now, have kids of their own. Has 2 daughters. One is extremely right-wing. And the other one is extremely left. And they have a tough time getting along. And I know both of them. They're both wonderful people. Good families, good to their children. They, one's, like I said, she's got a liberal husband and she's all that. But that aside, they're wonderful people. Beautiful people. And really, when I see people like this, even though we may disagree politically or whatever, they really have no effect on the whole thing anyway. So it's like, I see it as almost harmless, which may not be true, but anyhow, he's getting old, really older, and he wants to have his 2 daughters get along before he checks out. I said, tell your daughters, I'm 59. I got into politics, 90s. It was Clinton's trying to get elected. Clinton is campaigning. And I was a big Rush Limbaugh kid. I remember Rush Limbaugh was in Sacramento. I listened to Rush Limbaugh when you could only get him on the West Coast, the western parts of California. All that. Parents are conservative. We've always voted Republican and all this stuff. And I was actually campaigning, hey, baby, we got to wake up, guys. We don't want this guy Clinton to get elected. And much people I was in my 20s, and the people around me, these smart adults and everything, like, dude, relax. It's no big deal. But just vote Republican. Don't worry about it. Nobody was into the politics. It was a seasonal thing, like. And then someone you could always complain about your president. But I said, tell your daughters I've been at this a long time. Maybe I'm not on their team or whatever, but tell them I've been at this a long, long time. I've read the books. I've listened to the radio, the internet. I got in the debates and I put a lot of energy into all this. And this is, let's see, if it was 25 or 25 is 50, so it would be 30-something years. Okay, where politics is a concern of mine. Tell them, forget which side you're on, tell them it was a complete waste of time. One of the most shameful things I've ever done was to put energy and worry, gray hairs, into this thing of politics. Because had I done nothing but anything else with that time, nothing would have changed. We'd still be right here today. Now, some might say, well, you could have changed if maybe if you ran. Yeah, if you ran a part of it. But I don't look at little kids that way. So sorry, I can't be a politician. Um, and or if I became a major influencer, like a Rogan, and you can move chunks of blocks of votes around. Yeah, sure, but that's not me. Or a wealthy industry where I could just buy the influence from politicians. That's the only three positions you have. Okay. Or it can be someone who's good at memes. Anyhow, I've told this guy, I said, tell your daughters if they can put it all aside, because at the end of the day, you're not going to sit back, looking back, going, you know what? It was worth all the effort because I stood up for what was right. You're not going to say that. What you're going to say is, I lost my sister. I lost good times with my sister. That's what it's going to come down to. That's what you'll remember. Time you wasted. Now, that doesn't mean that, I could have had this liberal friend who was a wacky wingnut type of person. I still would hang out with that person, not my thing. But to have this, if it's a family member, well, you got to have something going there. Okay, you got to, let's be honest. You can't burn them down like that. You have to have some line of communication there where you can come together. But these two aren't extreme in that way. They get together, they see each other as a political enemy. And the sad thing is, these two people who should be closer have zero effect on the actual politics, on the outcome. Just like me, zero effect. None. Even you, none. You don't meet any of that other criteria. You're not a politician, whatever. You have zero effect. Okay? Because now we see just how corrupt this thing is. We've seen this for the people that watch my channel, we've known this for a long time. We speculated. Now we're not speculating anymore because we've been spot on the whole time. But you have no effect. At the end of the day, you're creating no effect on that system. You're just burning bridges with your family. It's not worth it. And a lot of energy, gray hair, whatever the case is, wasted on this. I can honestly say, because I said, I've been hardcore on this stuff. Maybe 2010 I mellowed a bit because I had lost the Republican Party. I said, these guys are nuts. But maybe they'll get the right people and they'll straighten it out. I thought leadership will change. Little did I know back then, they were as worthless as the Democrats. Excuse me. But to realize it's just such a waste of energy, I would like to have all the time back. And not to burn your family over it. It's just not worth it. It was a huge waste of time. I spent a lot of time in bars in my 20s. I like to have all that time back too. I could turn that to a college degree or something. Learning speaking another language. Instead, I'm, goofing around at a bar. But yeah, I told them, tell your daughters that this is a waste of time. It's not because you really have no effect. You're just chasing windmills. You're trying to talk back a storm. The storm's coming. It has nothing to do with you. You're just going to get wet. So it's to think it's it's vanity to think that, well, I'll make a video about this like I'm doing now and it's going to change. No. You could look what Trump's doing right now. People are discrediting him every day because he says stupid things every day. Bondi is still working for him. Anybody else would have ditched her months ago. Oh my God, she's an idiot. What the heck? What did she say? We need to get somebody else in here. Oh no, this is his gal. It's almost as if, and we think too that, well, I'm his constituent. Surely, certainly he's concerned about, the messaging as far as to persuade me or keep me on board. No, he's not. He's not running again. He doesn't need your vote anymore. You are zero to this man. Yeah. Anyhow, I don't mean to get off on that tangent. See, I'm already wasting energy. If this applies to you or someone you know, if you burnt some bridges, like I said, I have say it properly. I have hardcore liberals in my life. And I basically just, they're for entertainment purposes only. I don't mean that in a mean way. Some are funny, they're creative people, this and that. But if it really came down to brass tacks and we had to get busy or make something happen, dude, shut up, sit down, pay attention. Because we're in a life struggle here. We're going to make this happen. But don't do any of your funny business. We can get this going. It has its place. But in the meantime, my mother had her birthday yesterday. We had people to come over, and some of them were, but they're still family. What are you going to do? I don't take them seriously. So I can be around them. I don't have to take them seriously. But, yeah, complete waste of time. Not worth burning your bridges over with your family. If you can make it work, even if it's just to be civil. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to look back and say, well, I died on that hill, and loyal to the cause and all that BS. That's a bunch of crap. You're going to realize that you lost your family. And you should have did more. You should have did something there. Okay? Remember that. Love you. God bless. All this is BS.